Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. I had always believed family meant trust, that no matter what, the people who raised you wouldn't deceive you, at least not in a way that shattered everything. But as I stared at my laptop screen that evening, my hands trembled. A bank notification had arrived, one I usually ignored. This time, I clicked, my stomach twisted. A $5,000 transfer labeled Emergency Fund, Parents. 2 months ago, my mother had called, voice shaking. The house needs urgent repairs, she had pleaded. The plumbing, the roof, we're struggling, Connor. I sent the money immediately. No questions. And now, on my screen, was a social media post that undid everything. Charlotte, my sister, the golden child, grinned in front of a luxury cruise ship. Cocktail in hand, blue water sparkling behind her. Family bonding on the high seas. First class all the way. I stopped breathing. Family bonding? I hadn't even been invited. Frantically, I clicked onto my mother's profile. More photos, deckside dinners, spa treatments, diamond jewelry. My money paid for this. I scrolled faster. My hands were ice. Past posts revealed a pattern. Weekend getaways, expensive brunches, lavish gifts. They had been using me for years. A knock at my door startled me. Connor. Ophelia's voice was gentle. My girlfriend had always seen things I refused to acknowledge. She stepped inside, eyes scanning my face. What's wrong? I swallowed hard. My parents lied to me. She didn't look surprised. Instead, she exhaled, as if she had been expecting this. They took the money, I continued, my voice hollow. The money I sent to fix the house. They used it to go on a first-class cruise with Charlotte. Ophelia's lips pressed into a thin line. Connor, you've been too generous with them for too long. I let out a humorless laugh. I thought I was helping them. I thought. My voice cracked. She reached for my hand. You always put them first. But have they ever done the same for you? I didn't answer, because deep down, I already knew. Still, I needed confirmation. A part of me clung desperately to the hope that maybe, just maybe, there was another explanation. I picked up my phone and dialed Mrs. Hendricks, our old neighbor. She answered after 2 rings, warm as ever. Connor, dear, what a lovely surprise. I forced a smile she couldn't see. Hi, Mrs. Hendricks. Have my parents had any work done on the house lately? A pause, then confusion. Oh no, dear. The house looks just the same. Though I did see them off last month, big suitcases, laughing, something about a trip of a lifetime. My grip on the phone tightened, so it was true. I ended the call. Ophelia squeezed my hand. What are you going to do? I clenched my jaw. I'm going to confront them. The next morning, I sat at my desk, staring at years of bank transfers, messages, and receipts. It had always been there, the pattern, the favoritism, the quiet betrayal. I had just refused to see it. Charlotte, my sister, had been the center of our parents' world since childhood. Every award I won, every achievement I reached, it was acknowledged, but never celebrated. Meanwhile, Charlotte could do no wrong. When she wrecked her first car, Dad bought her another. When she failed college courses, Mom blamed the professors. And when I got a scholarship through sheer hard work, that's nice, dear, was all I got. And now it wasn't just emotional favoritism. It was financial too. She's their investment, Ophelia murmured, watching me sift through records. And you're their bank. I exhaled sharply, and I let them. Scrolling through old texts, I found more proof. Mom, a year ago, can you cover Charlotte's student loans? She's so stressed. Dad, 6 months ago, your sister needs help with rent. She's struggling, Connor. Struggling? Charlotte lived in a penthouse. I paid for my own apartment while she enjoyed hardships wrapped in luxury. Exactly 1 week later, when my family returned from the cruise, I got a text message on my phone. Charlotte, did you seriously call Mrs. Hendricks about the house? You're so dramatic. Get over it. A second later, if you're mad about the cruise, that's your fault. If you had a better attitude, maybe Mom and Dad would have invited you. My hands curled into fists. Unbelievable. Ophelia leaned over, reading the text. She doesn't even try to hide it. I grabbed my phone. I'm done. I'm confronting them now. Ophelia stood. I'm coming with you. I didn't argue. I needed her steady presence. As we drove to my parents' house, memories flooded back, birthdays overshadowed by Charlotte's whims, my hard-earned money disappearing into their lifestyle. I tightened my grip on the wheel. The golden child's reign was ending today. The air inside my parents' house was thick with the scent of expensive candles and freshly brewed coffee, a manufactured warmth that had never truly existed here. My mother sat at the dining table, flipping through a glossy magazine, while my father lounged on the couch, feet propped up like a king in his castle. Charlotte stood near the window, scrolling through her phone, not even bothering to look up when I entered. I clenched my fists. Not this time. Enjoy the cruise? My voice was sharp, slicing through the air. Mom finally looked up, feigning surprise. Oh, Connor, you should have called before dropping by. Dad didn't even glance my way. What's with the attitude? I stepped forward, my pulse pounding. You lied to me. You said you needed money for emergency expenses, but you took a luxury vacation instead. Charlotte snorted. Oh, please. You're acting like you're some victim. I turned to her. You knew, didn't you? She smirked. Of course I knew. But why should you care? You're doing fine. It's not like you needed the money. I let out a humorless laugh. That's the problem, isn't it? I'm fine, so I'm just supposed to keep paying for everything while you get pampered. Mom sighed, rubbing her temples. Connor, sweetheart, don't be so dramatic. We just wanted a little fun. You wouldn't have fit in on a cruise like that anyway. That hit harder than I expected. Like I wasn't good enough to be part of their lives, only their financial support. Ophelia, standing beside me, crossed her arms. You used him, and you don't even have the decency to apologize. Dad finally turned his head, scowling. Don't talk to me like that, young lady. I let out a slow breath, steadying myself. This was it. You're right about one thing, Mom, I said coldly. I'm done being dramatic. I'm also done being your personal bank. I pulled out my phone, opening my banking app. With a few taps, I canceled every recurring payment I had set up for them, the mortgage support, Charlotte's rent, the extra money I sent just in case. Mom gasped, Connor, no, you can't do that. Dad shot up from the couch. We're your parents. And I'm your son, I said, voice steady, not your paycheck. Charlotte's smug expression faltered. You're being ridiculous. I turned for the door. No. For the first time, I'm being fair to myself. And with that, I walked away, leaving their shocked silence behind me. The pounding on my door started just after sunset. I knew it would come. I opened it to find my mother, father, and Charlotte standing there, a perfect trio of desperation. My mother's eyes were red, her hands gripping the doorframe like she was afraid I'd slam it in her face. My father's jaw was set, his nostrils flaring. Charlotte, arms crossed, wore a mask of forced indifference. Connor, please, Mom whispered. We need to talk. I didn't move. We already did. Dad stepped forward, his voice sharp. You can't just cut us off like this. We're family. I scoffed. Funny, you never remembered that when you were lying to me. Charlotte rolled her eyes. God, Connor, stop playing the victim. You're just punishing us for no reason. Ophelia appeared beside me, her presence a quiet force of support. He's setting boundaries, she said calmly. Something you clearly don't understand. Mom reached for my hand, her grip weak. But your father's health. I pulled away. Don't use guilt. You didn't think about my well-being when you spent my money on luxury. Silence stretched between us. Finally, I had exhaled. I'm done. No more money, no more control. You made your choice. Now live with it. Dad's face twisted in anger. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but at least it'll be my choice. And with that, I closed the door. Weeks passed, silence. Then an envelope slid under my door. No return address, just my name and my mother's careful script. I hesitated before opening it. Inside was a letter filled with the usual emotional blackmail. We raised you. We sacrificed for you. Family forgives. Send money, Connor. Your father's health is declining. I exhaled sharply. It was always the same script. That night, Charlotte called. I let it go to voicemail, but her message was smug. Congratulations, you've successfully abandoned your family. Enjoy your new life with Ophelia, until she realizes what a selfish disappointment you are. Ophelia sat beside me, taking my phone and deleting the message without a word. She didn't need to say anything. I already knew what I had to do. The next morning, I changed my number, blocked them on everything, and left no way for them to reach me again. For the first time in my life, I felt free. Months later, as Ophelia and I stood hand in hand at our wedding, I felt nothing but peace. No regrets, no guilt. Just the promise of a future where I finally came first. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.